What is a firewall? This warrants an entire video on its own. So a firewall is a network security device that monitors and controls incoming and outgoing network traffic, and it's used to protect networks from unauthorized access. So any bad or good communication that comes in, the firewall checks. Any good or bad communication that goes out, the firewall checks. It checks to make sure that the right level of traffic and type of traffic is coming in and going out to protect entire networks or individual devices. It's like a kind of gatekeeper that sits between your network and the entire world. So a firewall is like a security guard. The security guard is used to allow guests to access an area and prevent unauthorized people from getting access. Firewalls deny access to the network based on different requirements. Firewall can be a software or a hardware. Software firewalls are installed on computers. Hardware firewalls are standalone devices. And there are different use cases. So we will look at the different types of firewalls and their different use cases. So here you have an illustration that shows how firewalls work. Imagine still CNN, you have the internal network here, multiple users connected to a router and connected to the firewall. So what happens when Jamie here tries to connect to the firewall or when Laura connects to the firewall? So there are two different colors, Jamie blue, Laura red, good communication, red, bad communication. So when Jamie tries to connect, if you take a look at the firewall table at the bottom, you will see that Laura's IP address is blocked by the firewall. Meanwhile, Jamie's IP address should normally go through because it's not specified in here. So on section 4.5, in domain 4.5, we will go in detail on how to configure a firewall, but let's take a look at the illustration here. So when Jamie connects, since the firewall authorizes him to go through, he is able to connect. But when Laura tries to connect, the firewall will analyze her communication and block based on the firewall rules. Now, what are some types of firewalls? There are many different types of firewalls. First, you have a web application firewall. A web application firewall, also called a WAF, it protects applications by filtering, monitoring HTTP communication. That is for web browsers. It blocks SQL connections, SQL injection attacks. It blocks cross-site scripting attacks and multiple types of web-based attacks. And this is an example of how a WAF, a web application firewall, would work. So you have the cyber criminal here connected to the internet and connecting to Bank of America. Bank of America is protected by a WAF, a web application firewall. So when he tries to send his communication, he is blocked. And he tries multiple times, but he's not able to access because the web application firewall is specialized to protect against cyber criminals and attacks on web browsers. You have a next-gen firewall. Next-gen firewall is a sophisticated firewall and it provides deeper packet inspection. So it's really advanced. You can really see like what type of communication is going through, and it can base decisions on the type of decision like allow or deny. UTM, Unified Threat Management, this is a type of firewall that combines multiple security features into one single appliance. So it consolidates all of that into one. Imagine like you have routing, VPNs, IPS, emails and anti-filtering and firewalls all into one device. That's a little bit how a UTM works. Layer 4 firewalls operate at the transport layer, which is layer 4 of the communication OSI model, and it filters traffic based on IP address, the source and the destination, the protocol and the port number. So it can allow or deny traffic based on the different settings. Layer 7 operates at the application layer, which is the top layer 7, and it inspects the content. So based on the type of content you're sending, it can allow or deny communication based on what you're sending into the network. So at CyberMOOC, we also have hands-on training on firewalls. For example, one firewall is called IP tables. This is on Linux. It's very easy to use. And we provide training on IP tables with hands-on sessions. And we provide training on another type of firewall called UFW. And we have multiple other firewalls as well for which we provide training.
All right, guys, that concludes our course for today. Let me know what you think. Hope you enjoyed it. And make sure to follow us on all our social media platforms, which includes YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. Of course, do not forget to order our awesome Amazon flashcards that you can get for just $15. And they're awesome because they help you study.